Colonel Plug, 1700s. 1820, also known as Colonel Fluger and the last of the boat wreckers, who existed sometime between the 1790s and 1820, was the legendary river pirate who ran a criminal gang on the Ohio River in a cypress swamp near the mouth of the Cache River. The outlaw camp of Colonel Plug was supposedly below the river pirate hideout of Cave-in Rock and the U.S. Army post at Fort Massac, which monitored and policed frontier river traffic just above the confluence of the Ohio and Mississippi rivers. Cache River Swamp and Ohio River Juncture. French-Canadian voyagers gave the Cache River its name, which meant secret or hidden place. The first European settlers came into this swampy river country in 1803. The waterlogged river soil was too wet for farming, and the cypress swamps were populated with mosquitoes and venomous snakes. Many of the settlers along the Cache became sick and died of malaria. Because the Cache River was such an undesirable and nearly uninhabitable place, the poor living conditions in the region were ideal for concealing the illicit activities of river piracy. Colonel Plug tactics. Colonel Plug's usual tactics were to sneak aboard or have one of his river pirates, secretly, go into the hull of a boat, dig out the caulking between the boat bottom planks, causing the boat to sink and be easily attacked. The other method for disabling a boat was to drill holes in the bottom planks, with an auger. Traditional caulking was made from combining the fibers of cotton and oakum, a type of hemp rope fiber soaked in pine tar. The sticky caulk mixture would be driven into a wedge-shaped seam between the wooden boat hull planks, with a caulking mallet and a broad chisel-like tool called a caulking iron to create a watertight seal. The salvaged boat and cargo would later be sold, down the Mississippi River, in New Orleans and along other river town ports. Plug eventually drowned, being unable to escape from being trapped inside the bottom of a rapidly sinking boat. Physical appearance. According to newspaperman Timothy Flint in January 29, 1830, Colonel Plug was described as but being a youth of broad red cheeks, muscle, and impudence, and withal, abundantly stored with small talk. From 18 to 21 he was a decided favorite with the fair, and had had various love affairs, being reputed remarkably slippery in regard to the grace of perseverance. At 24 he had mounted epaulets, was a militia colonel, had a portentous red nose, and was in bad odor with all honest people. Colonel Plug wife and river pirate gang. Colonel Plug had a wife, known as Pluggy, a very large, copper-complected, mustached, quadroon woman of 3 mixed races. He had a partner and second in command, of the river pirate gang, named Nine Eyes, who may have been an escaped slave, manumitted former slave, or freeborn Negro. Historical research and folklore. Tales of Colonel Plug may have been based on the real-life, Cave-in Rock river pirate, Samuel Mason, or by his alias, Bully Wilson. Little is known about Colonel Plug, if he was actually a real person or just a fictional river pirate character, except, from the folklorish descriptions provided by Timothy Flint in his 1830 newspaper article Colonel Plug, the last of the boat wreckers, from the Cincinnati, Ohio newspaper, the Western Monthly Review, and another article The Boat Wreckers or Banditti of the West, in the Rochester, New York newspaper, Daily Advertiser, January 29, 1830, very little historical evidence exists about Colonel Plug to prove he actually lived. Colonel Plug claimed to have been a Yankee native from Rockingham County, New Hampshire, and a former colonel in the New Hampshire militia. Colonel Fluger may have been of German ancestry, as Fluger is a German surname. No historical evidence exists to justify this military claim, as no Fluger, Fluger, or Fluger surnames, as many spelling variations exist, can be found in the New Hampshire U.S. Census records or the Rockingham County military muster rolls. Decline of river piracy. After the arrival of the first steamboat, New Orleans, on the Ohio and Mississippi rivers. In 1811, the year of the cataclysmic New Madrid earthquake, river piracy began to decline as a criminal activity, primarily because these new boats were faster and harder to ambush and would not have had to stop as often for fueling, rest, supplies, or shelter from a storm. Also, keelboat crews, eventually, would travel together, like naval flotillas, with large groups of heavily armed men, in effect small armies, and exterminate the criminal element they found on the rivers. In popular culture, actor Walter Catlett portrayed the historical river pirate and criminal gang leader, Colonel Fluger, inaccurately as a comical mischief maker, not as ruthless outlaw in the Walt Disney's Disneyland's live-action miniseries, in Season 2, Episode 13, Davy Crockett and the River Pirates, which aired December 14, 1955. Brewing industry. In 2013, the microbrewery Listerman Brewing Company of Cincinnati, Ohio has produced Colonel Fluger, Kentucky-style common ale, a sour mash ale aged in oak barrels.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.